Today we have with us Colonel Shankar Shaurya Chakra, an Indian Army veteran who is on a mission which is called Project Sambandh. He has been traveling all around the countryside, meeting all the next of kin of the people of the armed forces who have laid down life either in the enemy action or in the service. He's been creating a database. So Colonel, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, and it's a great opportunity for me to be here in this wonderful studio in Northeast talking about Project Sambandh, and it's a great honor for me to be here in the studio.
All right, Colonel, what is this Project Sambandh that you have been giving talk all around the countryside?
In the Indian Army has got two types of casualties, that is people who lose their lives while in service. The first one is the battle casualty, the people who die because of operational reasons. These are called battle casualties.
Okay.
And the other types of casualties are called the physical casualties. Okay. These are Indian Army personnel who die while in service because of non-operational circumstances like medical conditions, suicides, fratricides, and accidents, which includes road accidents, electricity, lightning, etc. The unfortunate part is that the Indian Army loses about 1,500 soldiers and officers every year to this physical casualties.
Oh, Colonel, that's a huge number. 1,500 we are losing every year on non-operational activities. So how does the Army distinguish between these casualties and what the remuneration or pension and all these issues that are all about? If you can just explain briefly.
Well, thank you. That's a very good question that you asked. So as you would know, battle casualties, of course, because of operational reasons, because they die because of operational reasons, the next of kin, that is the widows or their parents or brothers and sisters, next of kin is the people who are immediately benefited by these schemes. The battle casualties get 100% pension, and the children of these battle casualties also get complete grant for their education. Whereas for the physical casualties, that is the Indian Army personnel who die while in service because of non-operational circumstances, they get either 30 or 60% pension depending on whether it was non-attributable to service or attributable to service. And unfortunately, the children's education is not taken care of by the government. But there are other schemes which the government of India, the Indian Army, the state governments also extend.
Colonel, may I interrupt? What is this attributable to service and non-attributable to service that you just mentioned?
Oh, that's a good question again. This is something that confuses even people in uniform, So physical casualty can happen while you were on duty because of non-operational circumstances. Like, for example, you were going in a service vehicle and you met with a road accident. So that would be attributable service because you were trying to do a duty.
Okay.
Whereas, let's say the same person, while he was on leave and he was going from a place to another place for some personal reason and he met with an accident and died, then that would be not attributable to service.
Oh, that's a very valuable piece of information. So what is all this, the Project Sambandh that we've been hearing from the Army Twitter handle, from the Eastern Command Twitter handle, from the newspapers of late that we're seeing last 3-4 days you've been traveling? What is this Project Sambandh all about?
Well, Project Sambandh is a personal project of mine. I served the Indian Army for about 20 years. And I retired prematurely to take up a calling of mine to help connect with the next of kin of the physical casualties.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so I embarked on a 1,000-day, one-man philanthropic project called Project Sambandh with the sole aim to connect with the next of kin of the physical casualties of the Indian Army. And that is all about Project Sambandh.
Thank you very much. You have taken up all this task. So what are you going to do? How do you think this Project Sambandh that you have has brought you to the Northeast now, because you are coming up the first time in this project, how do you plan to go about as far as the Northeast people are concerned here?
Oh, well, absolutely. Northeast has been such a huge contributor to the Indian Armed Forces and especially to the Indian Army. So Project Sambandh involves identifying the physical casualties next of kin, getting them verified, making sure that their entitlements are given to them, then making sure that there is a continuity in the process, and more than anything else, to first establish connect with them. Ideal situation is that all the benefits are relayed and given to the next of kin of the physical casualties. But the problem with the next of kin of the physical casualty is myriad, because over a period of time, the connect from the armed forces and the physical casualties next of kin is broken because of various social, financial, emotional reasons. So my aim here in the Northeast is to connect with the next of kin of all these places in the Northeast. So I have databased these next of kin over the last 2 years, and I have come up with nearly 1,500 names of these next of kin, and I'm going place to place connecting with the armed forces as well as with the widows themselves directly and explaining to them the various schemes that are applicable to them.
Colonel Shankar, can you just give an example as to how, because I'm sure Army also must be keeping a track of all the people who are the casualty, whether in battle or in physical. So how do you think they lose connect? Can you just give an example?
That's a good question. It's unfortunate, but this happens because of social reasons. What typically happens is physical casualty widow, after the death of the husband, typically moves to the village where the in-laws are.
Okay.
Where the educational facilities might not be that appropriate, as well as the social and the financial conditions are also not very good. So over a period of time, she realizes that for the sake of the future generation, that is the children, she moves to a different location, tries to get some vocational opportunities so that she can supplement the income with the pension. And because of which the army loses touch because there is no connect, and the connect is only with the previous address, which was village, tehsil, district, which is old fashioned.
And they have moved over a period of time from that address.
Absolutely. Moreover, they moved over, and also they feel that the army might not be able to offer much to them. But unfortunately, they are mistaken, and listeners who are listening to this would realize that the army, under the aegis of the Directorate of Indian Army Veterans, has got many schemes for the children's education as well as for the social and financial reasons.
Alright, so Colonel Shankar, why have you taken the project of only the physical casualties in this?
Okay, this was a calling for me because I had interacted with a couple of widows of the physical casualties, and I found out that they are the most affected among all categories. Like I brought out earlier, the battle casualties next of kin get 100% pension. Their children's education is taken care. So financially, they are a little better off. Secondly, socially also, they are feted, they are called for events. There is a connect which is maintained by the Indian Army. Vis-a-vis the physical casualties widow, financially, of course, like I told you, they get less pension, the children's education is not taken care, and that's where the disconnect is.
Can you give an example as to how much pension this 60%, 30%? Suppose, Army Jawan has been drawing, say, 50,000 at the time of retirement.
Yes.
So now if he dies as a battle casualty and if he dies as a physical casualty, one attributable to service, other non-attributable service, can you just give a simple example, say somebody getting 1 lakh of salary at the time of death?
Okay, at the time of death, let's say he was getting 1 lakh of salary, a battle casualties next of kin would continue to get 1 lakh rupees.
Okay, they'll
continue to get 1 lakh rupees. Plus the education of the children is taken care.
Okay.
Whereas somebody who is non-attributable to service would get 30,000 rupees.
Oh, that is really...
Yes, that is 30%. And somebody who is attributable to service would get 60,000 rupees.
Okay.
But actually, Jawans get much lesser than 1 lakh rupees.
That is
so financially, the study that I have done over the last about 200 odd days is they get a range between 9,000, which is minimum pension, to about 25 to 30,000 rupees. So they have to make do with this kind of money living. So out of roti, kapda and makan goes away. So they have to sustain with this money in a different place, looking after the children's education, their own well-being as well as the immediate family.
Okay, now we come to that how is Army helping them, the physical casualty, and what are the benefits they are entitled for? Because I'm sure most of the listeners, where widows are there, the children are there, they would not be, I'm sure they must be aware, but for those who are not aware and they're not getting those benefits, can you explain in detail as to what are the benefits they're entitled for? Then my next question will be as to how to go about in getting them whatever Army is providing.
Absolutely right. That's the whole mission that I have embarked on. So the physical casualties next of kin get benefits from the government of India, which is the pension. Apart from that, what is specifically to my project Sambandh is the benefits which the Indian Army extends to the physical casualties.
Correct, yes.
So I will explain what they get. They get educational scholarship for the children as well as for the widow if they pursue any form of education. So for children from 1st standard to 8th standard, they get 10,000 rupees per annum. From 9th standard to 12th standard, they get 14,000 rupees per annum.
Oh, that's nice. Yes.
If they're doing graduation, they get 20,000 rupees. If they're doing post-graduation, they get 25,000 rupees. If they're pursuing a professional course like engineering or medicine, they get 50,000 rupees a year.
So that means all this money that a government of India has sanctioned for the physical casualties next of kin, which they should know and they should also take an advantage of this scheme.
Yes, this is primarily from the Indian Army side, scholarship schemes.
That's
so
wonderful.
Apart from these educational schemes, you also have certain schemes for their social benefits. Like, for example, if the widow gets remarried, she gets 1 lakh rupees. as a one-time grant.
All right. So army pays 1 lakh rupees to the widow of a physical casualty once she remarries.
Yes, as well as to the girl child when she marries, she gets 1 lakh rupees as a one-time grant.
So these are the benefits with physical casualties.
So these are the educational and the social benefits. Apart from that, the physical casualties children on pursuing graduation get a computer grant worth 35,000 rupees.
Okay, that's nice.
So these are the certain ways that we are trying to reach out to the physical casualties and help them rebuild their lives after their husband who served the country and dedicated his life for the country.
All right. So since these benefits which our Indian Army is providing them, how does a woman or widow or a child of whose father has died, how do they go about in getting this money from the army?
Okay, wonderful. So the process is very, very simple. The nodal agency which disperses the money is called the Directorate of Indian Army Veterans. They are based in Delhi at 104 Cavalry Road, New Delhi. So the way to download the form, it's a one-page form. The forms are available at www.Indian Army Veterans, that is Indian Army, INDIAN, ARMY, Veterans, VETERANS.gov.in. IndianArmyVeterans.gov.in.
All the listeners, please note down this site address. Today, since most of the villages and towns, the internet is there, go to this site and download this form. Now, can you just explain further how to go?
Okay, this form is a one-page form which has got basic information about the details of the child, details of the next of kin, details of the deceased soldier. Apart from this, the form has also got a portion for counter signature from the educational institute.
Okay.
So that we can verify that the child is studying.
Absolutely.
So for example, for the academic year 2018-19, the last date for submission of these forms is 30th November 2019. So apart from filling up this form, they need to append 4 documents.
Okay.
First one is called the service particulars. Otherwise, the official jargon is IAFY 1940. The second document that they need to append is the mark sheet of the academic year 2018-19. The third document is the fee receipt for academic year 2018-19. And the fourth document is a photocopy of the passbook where they require the money to be deposited. And all this money is transferred electronically by the Directorate of Indian Army Veterans directly into the account mentioned in the application form.
So if the form is filled properly, downloaded from the site, fill all the details, append all those four documents, which includes your check also, the money will directly come to your account if it is sent to the correct address. So this is indeed a very, very beneficial information that you are giving us, Colonel Shankar. Anything else that you want to convey to the families who are staying in the far-flung areas of the Northeast region, where they are normally separated from the Rajya Sainik Board and Jila Sainik Board, where they cannot access on a daily basis? So any other message how to go about, and how much corpus army is having for this job, and does army has sufficient money to begin with to handle the entire families? So all these things, if you can just go.
Oh, that's a good question that you'd asked. So listeners who are listening to this program, wonderful program, and when I'm trying to tell you about the various benefits, there are twofold. One, listeners who are nowhere connected to the army, you can reach out to the people in the villages where you find next of kin of the physical casualties and explain to them the various benefits. And also the next of kin of the physical casualties who are listening to this program, this is a very simple process. It's a one-page form. You'll have to just do it once, and after that it's a yearly process and people will get in touch with you. If there is any clarifications, then you can mail at this address, the project Sambandh @gmail.com. I'll say that again, the project Sambandh, THEPROJECT Sambandh, SAMBANDH @gmail.com. Any queries, you can always shoot in your queries to this email address. With regards to corpus, I can assure you that the public of India has been very kind and generous. They have been donating to the Indian Army. The corpus is enough to sustain this project which the Indian Army has taken as far as the Director of Indian Army Veterans for a long time. And I'm sure with the kind and benevolent people, more and more money will come in, and we will be able to support and make sure that the physical casualties next of kin are never left behind, and they're all part of our family. And I request all our viewers that please consider these next of kin as part of our own. They are our family, and their husbands gave their tomorrow for your today.
All right, listeners. So we had Colonel Shankar, who has explained, I think, very well in detail as how to identify the physical casualty and battle casualty, how to reach out to the next of kin, what are the benefits the next of kin are authorized beyond the pension and other things which Army had been given. And all those who are listening, if you know some family who's been staying in your village or in town, who's the man of the house has expired due to any circumstances while serving in the army, so please reach out to them, please inform all these details, and please take advantage of whatever the benefit, like educational benefits, the amount of money which army is giving every month for the study, the social benefits for the widows, for daughter marriage, for laptops, or with the computers. All the benefits are there. Please inform them and please use it. In case of any query, the email address has already been given. In the Indian Army website also, the address is given by Colonel Shankar during the course of his talk. Please go through it and please use these facilities which are existing, and let the money not lapse, and some next of kin who is actually in need may utilize this facility. Colonel Shankar, would you like to give any other message to our listeners?
Thank you very much. It's been a great opportunity for me to address all these listeners. And although my project is just about physical casualty next of kin, there are many more schemes which you can find in the website that I told you, for the physical casualty disabled, for ex-servicemen, for the battle casualties, for people who have got special children. There are many more schemes, but I'm just concentrating on the physical casualties. So it's been a great opportunity for me, and I like to thank the All India Radio for providing this wonderful opportunity and the kind of reach that All India Radio has got. I think no one is in any competition to the kind of reach that All India Radio has got.
Yeah, of course, this Northeastern Service is covering also, and I'm sure the message which you have given will reach out the far and corner of all these states in the Northeast region. Thank you very much for sparing your time. This is Wing Commander Ratnakar Singh, the spokesperson MOD, just interviewing Colonel Shankar at NES Shillong.
Thank you very much. Jai Hind.